Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into the world of Zabaione.
Zabaione.
And, I bet some of you are out there thinking, ooh, Italian, that sounds complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But trust me, this is going to be a fun one.
It
So
is.
Zabaione, for those who haven't heard of it, is this light and frothy Italian dessert. And one of the things that's so cool about it is how simple it is.
Yes.
Like, we're talking 3 core ingredients.
It's really about beautiful simplicity,
Egg yolks,
sugar,
and traditionally Marsala wine.
Marsala wine.
Today, we're going to be talking about non-alcoholic variations. So swapping out that Marsala for some sweet juices that you probably have
Okay.
sitting in your pantry,
I like that.
like grape or apple.
Yeah. So it's accessible
Exactly.
to everybody.
And it's really versatile. Like, you can have it warm, chilled as the sauce.
Oh, wow.
And it's naturally gluten-free, so that's a bonus for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got this dessert with, it's got this reputation for being elegant. But is it really that straightforward?
It is super straightforward.
Right?
We're talking like 15 minutes.
Wow.
To prepare it, just a few basic ingredients and a technique that, while it requires some attention, is easy to master.
Okay.
It's interesting. The history of Zabaione actually dates back to the Italian Renaissance.
Oh, wow.
And there's some debate about whether it was a dish for common people or the elite. But regardless, it's got a long and delicious history.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that it's got a story,
Yeah.
All right, so let's say I want to make this at home.
Yes.
Where do I even begin?
Okay, well, the first step is creating a bain-marie,
Bain-marie.
which is just a fancy way of saying a hot water bath.
Okay.
So you'll fill a saucepan with a couple inches of water and bring it to a gentle simmer.
Okay, so while that's heating up,
Yep.
what am I doing next?
Next, you're going to whisk together your egg yolks and sugar in a heat-proof bowl. And the key here is to whisk until that mixture becomes pale and creamy and almost doubled in volume.
Yeah.
A stand mixer can help, but whisking by hand will give you a better feel for the texture.
Okay, so we've got our simmering water bath and our fluffy egg yolk mixture.
Yeah.
What now?
Now you're going to carefully place the bowl over that simmering water, making absolutely sure the bottom of the bowl doesn't touch the water directly.
Okay.
Then you'll slowly add your chosen juice while whisking constantly.
Okay.
This is really important to prevent the eggs from scrambling.
Gotcha. So low and slow is the name of the game here.
Exactly, and the whisking doesn't stop there. You'll need to continue whisking for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or until the mixture triples in volume
Wow.
and becomes light and frothy.
Okay.
It should coat the back of a spoon and reach a temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
That sounds like a bit of an arm workout.
You'll definitely feel those muscles working, but it's
All
worth it.
right, so any tips to ensure that my Zabaione is successful?
Definitely. A few things to remember.
Okay.
First, always use the freshest eggs you can find.
Okay.
They not only taste better,
Yeah.
but the fresher the eggs, the better their emulsifying properties,
Oh.
which are essential for that airy texture.
Boy.
And like we said, constant whisking is your best friend in preventing those scrambled eggs.
Fresh eggs, constant whisking. Got it.
Exactly.
So you mentioned we can use different juices.
Yes.
What are some other variations that we could try?
Well, a splash of vanilla extract or a pinch of cinnamon can add a lot of warmth and complexity.
Okay.
Or you can get a little adventurous and swap out the grape juice for something like pomegranate juice
Ooh,
for a tangy twist.
I like it.
Zabaione is really a blank canvas for flavor. And speaking of flavor,
Yeah.
the traditional recipe calls for Marsala wine,
Right.
which adds a really unique depth and complexity.
Marsala wine. I've heard of it,
Yeah.
but I'm not super familiar.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a fortified wine from Sicily, Italy. And fortified just means that they add a spirit, usually brandy, to the wine,
Okay.
which increases the alcohol content and gives it this richer, more intense flavor.
So it's not just about the flavor, then it's also like bringing in that
Exactly.
element.
Yeah, a little bit of history in there.
Yeah.
And, historically, Marsala wine was a symbol of luxury and celebration.
Cool.
So it adds this touch of sophistication and elegance to the dessert.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we've got, history, we've got variations, we've got tips
Yeah.
for, making it. But what is a really exceptional Zabaione?
Right.
What should I be aiming for?
Well, the hallmark of a perfect Zabaione is all about the texture.
Okay.
It should be incredibly light, airy, almost cloud-like.
Okay.
Some people even describe it as spoonfuls of sunshine.
Oh, I like that.
I think that's a perfect
Oh,
analogy.
spoonfuls of sunshine.
Yes.
And so is that texture like related back to that whole emulsification
Absolutely.
thing that we were talking about.
You remember how we were saying whisking incorporates air into the mixture?
Yeah.
And then the egg yolk proteins stabilize those air bubbles?
Right.
So that's really what's giving the Zabaglione its signature, like, ethereal texture.
So that whisking is like super important
It's key.
for getting that light texture. Are there other factors that come into play too?
Yeah, heat control is another one.
Okay.
If the heat is too high, the proteins in the egg yolks will cook too quickly and you'll end up with a grainy texture.
Oh.
But if the heat is too low, the Zabaglione won't thicken properly.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a balancing act.
It does sound like it takes some finesse, you know?
I can see how it might seem daunting at first.
Yeah.
But it's more about just having confidence in the process.
Right.
And trusting your instincts and, like, anything else. The more you practice,
Yeah.
the more comfortable you'll become.
Yeah, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to master the art of creating spoonfuls of sunshine?
Exactly.
All right, so we've got, the texture down. But what about presentation?
Oh, that's a good point.
Are there ways to make it extra visually appealing?
Absolutely. Presentation is definitely important.
Yeah.
Even a simple dessert like Zabaglione can be elevated with a little attention to detail.
Okay.
I always recommend using elegant serving dishes, like small glass bowls or coupes.
Yeah.
They really showcase the beautiful, like, texture and color of the Zabaglione.
And garnishes.
Oh, yes. We can't forget about garnishes.
What are some good options?
Well, fresh berries are always a classic choice.
Yeah.
They add a pop of color and a touch of freshness.
Yeah.
A dusting of cocoa powder or a sprinkle of chopped nuts can also be lovely.
Yeah.
Or for a more decadent touch, a drizzle of honey or a dollop of whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
a little sprig of mint.
Ooh, I love that.
Would be nice.
Yeah, little aroma
Yeah.
and a little visual interest.
Exactly.
It's all about being creative and, letting your personal style shine through.
Right.
I want to shift gears for a second and talk about the shared experience of food.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about that.
There's something so special about gathering with loved ones and enjoying a meal together.
Sure.
And Zabaione, with its simplicity and elegance, it feels like the perfect dessert for sharing.
Right.
Imagine sitting around a table with friends or family, savoring spoonfuls of this, like, airy custard, and just enjoying each other's company.
It's a beautiful image.
It is.
And it reminds me that sometimes the simplest things are the most meaningful.
Exactly.
Like sharing a meal with people you care about, creating memories.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about.
You hit the nail on the head. And I think that's something that we often overlook in our busy lives.
For sure.
We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle that we forget to, like, slow down and appreciate these simple pleasures.
So true.
So
let's make a conscious effort to create more of those shared experiences.
Yes, I love that.
Invite people over, try a new recipe together.
Yeah.
And just like be present.
Be present.
In the moment.
Yes.
And maybe Zabaione will be a part of that.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about the food itself.
Right.
It's about the connections that we make.
Yeah.
And the memories that we create while sharing a meal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Before we move on, though.
Yeah.
Like, what is one thing that you hope people listening to this, deep dive into Zabaione?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I hope they come away with a sense of curiosity and inspiration.
Okay.
A desire to explore new flavors.
Yeah.
To embrace culinary traditions. And to create their own delicious memories in the kitchen.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not just about learning about Zabaione.
Right.
It's about embracing the joy of cooking and sharing food.
Precisely. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will spark a lifelong love affair with Zabaione for some of our listeners.
You never know.
You never know.
It's such a cool dessert.
It's a dessert that has a way of capturing hearts and palates.
Well said.
Thank you.
So are you ready to continue our exploration of Zabaione?
I am.
I have a feeling we've got a lot more to uncover.
We do. We have a lot more to talk about.
All right. I am definitely ready for more.
Me too.
So we've talked about the history, the variations, the importance of technique.
Yeah.
But there's one aspect we haven't really dived into yet.
What's that?
The science behind Zabaione.
Oh, yes. The science.
It's like culinary alchemy.
It is.
Like transforming these simple ingredients into this luxurious dessert.
Yeah.
So what's actually happening on a molecular level when we're making this?
Well, the key process here, like we touched on before, is emulsification.
Right.
So when we're whisking those egg yolks, we're incorporating air into the mixture, creating all those important air bubbles.
And those would give it that light, airy texture.
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's the interesting part.
Okay.
The proteins in the egg yolks, they act as emulsifiers, so they surround those air bubbles and prevent them from collapsing.
Okay.
And that's what gives the Zabaione its stable, foamy structure.
So the egg yolks are really doing double duty here.
They are.
They're providing flavor and acting as like these structural building blocks.
Multitasking.
What about the heat?
Yeah.
Like what role does that play?
Heat is crucial for thickening the mixture
Okay.
and creating that custard-like consistency.
Right.
So the heat gently cooks the egg yolks,
Yeah.
causing the proteins to coagulate and set.
Okay.
But remember, it's a delicate balance.
Oh, right.
Too much heat, and those proteins will overcook and clump together.
Yeah.
And you'll end up with that grainy, curdled texture.
So it's like this dance between incorporating the air,
Yeah.
thickening it,
Yes.
and not scrambling the eggs.
It is a dance.
That's why the whisking and the heat control are so important.
Exactly.
It's amazing how something so simple can be so complex at the same time.
It is fascinating.
So is there a scientific reason why it's so delicious?
Well, taste is subjective, of course.
Sure.
But there are definitely some scientific principles at play.
Okay.
The combination of sweet, creamy, and slightly tangy flavors,
Yeah.
it really appeals to our taste buds on multiple levels.
And that airy texture probably makes those flavors even more intense.
Absolutely. The air bubbles create a larger surface area,
Right.
allowing the flavors to release more easily.
So they're like little flavor bombs.
Little flavor bombs exploding with deliciousness
I love it.
in every bite.
It's so cool how science and culinary arts can come together
I know, it's amazing.
to create such a delightful experience.
It really is. And I think understanding the science behind a dish
Yeah,
can deepen our appreciation for the craft
totally.
and the skill.
It's like you're unlocking a secret code.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
It reveals the magic behind the flavor.
Well, we've explored the history, the techniques, the variations,
Yeah.
even the science behind Zabaione.
We really have.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, hit me.
If you could create your own Zabaglione variation,
Yeah.
what would it be? What flavors would you explore?
That's a good question.
What ingredients would you add to make it your own?
Yeah, that's a challenge for our listeners to really get creative,
I love it.
to think outside the box.
Yes.
Maybe we'll discover the next culinary masterpiece inspired by this.
You never know.
It's true.
That's what's so exciting about food.
Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our Zabaione adventure.
It has been a journey.
It's been a delicious journey,
It has.
filled with, history, technique, flavor,
And science.
and science.
Of course.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to try your hand at making Zabaione.
Yeah, get in there.
Whether you stick to the traditional recipe or create your own variation,
Yeah.
we just encourage you to embrace the joy of cooking
Yes.
and share with the people you love.
Absolutely.
Because remember, it's not just about the food itself.
Right.
It's about the memories and the connections that you make.
Well said.
So go forth, get whisking, and savor every spoonful of sunshine.
I love it.
For the full recipe and more inspiration, be sure to visit eateveryslice.com.
Yes.
And don't forget to share your creations with us on social media.
We want to see them.
Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.
Ciao.